Chayla Huiti, I'm gonna do a little voiceover here. Like the title says, we're season opener for elk and deer. Has to be a cow or spike elk or a buck deer. It is open for all legal weapons. Um, the bear's been open since I think July or June for a tribal tag. But yeah, so I'm gonna throw in some voiceover here just to clear up maybe some dead space in the video. Let you know what's going on without titles, text. So here, night one, day one, it's probably like 45 minutes before last shooting light. And I had this doe and two fawns come sneaking in. They just crept real slow right over there on the edge of the trees. Probably like 45 yards. Just walked from my left all the way out my right until I couldn't see him anymore. Next day here, I think we're seeing the same deer, doe and two fawns running around the same path. But that was all I saw those first 2 days is these deer. The next morning I checked clear cut, way too foggy. Daughter's sick, so I took her home. This morning, August 4th, my wife, she got home, told me to go off to my dad's because he had been sending us videos of the elk at the back of his property, so heading up to the tree stand. So this here's Monday morning. Didn't see anything Sunday, and the elk are coming in. And I wish I would have known I saw the elk today because I didn't change my battery, so I didn't get too much footage, but it got pretty wild here. I was within 100 yards of the elk all day. And it's really bright, but the elk are coming from that really well lit area. It's a new clear cut they had cut just last year. And I can see them out there. I think they're at about 120 yards, 130 yards, just walking up through this clear cut, kind of heading towards me. So you get to see one walking right here in between the trees in the middle, if you can tell. And then, but this is about 7 o'clock, 7:15, something like that. And I could probably see, I think I seen like at least 10 or 15 cows, and I saw for sure 4 spikes. Yeah, and I filmed a good bit of this here, and you can't really even see any of the elk just because of the lighting back there, but they're there. I can see them. Promise. So it looked like that little, probably yearling cow was heading towards me, but they kind of veered off and ended up just all walking away and bedding up above me, and I think they're straight across from me. Spike comes in here at 50 yards. Not really a shot just because of the angle of the tree. I'd been like leaning off my stand, but yeah, other than that, I sat here for about 6 hours waiting. listening to these cows chirp is cool, but they're talking with their calves. And if you could see over there, the calves are talking a lot more sporadic, but the cows are talking to them too. They're nursing, so they're keeping track of where each other are at, and you know, staying close. So 30:30 rolls around, and all the elk get up, and both bedding areas, and they group up out here to my right, and they start heading into the brush, feeding into me. So I'm thinking, oh man, here comes. Also, my GoPro battery's at about 20%, so I'm really turning it off, turning it on, the chances I get. So as they get closer here, I'm looking for a decent sized cow. My dad didn't want me to take a spike just because there's not very many bulls back here and people would shoot them up with the rifle. So I'm looking for a decent sized cow, but I don't want to take one that, too small, and also one that's still feeding its calf. So I'm really trying to be picky, but looking for a good shot for the most part. Just a decent, good quarter inch waist shot. Here's one coming up to the bottom right that you can see. She's coming quartering in her frontal, and she does end up quartering away, and I probably could have took a shot at about 20 yards, 25 yards, but there's a tree limb right above me right above my head, and I'm also sitting down with I'm looking over my back right shoulder really hard. It's hurting my neck pretty bad actually. But so I'd have to stand up and turn, and I don't want to spook them. I know if they come around, they wrap around, keep feeding, then I know they'll be in a really good kill zone just to my left. So they're over my back right now. I know if they keep feeding across, I'm gonna get a better shot. So that's what I'm waiting for. All this, what I'm talking about, probably could have forced a shot. I think she's at about 20, 25 yards. But as I said before, my battery's dying, and so I don't get it on camera, but I look over my left shoulder here in a minute, and there's a big cow coming down the trail, and literally whatever it is feels my energy or whatever. But when I decided I was that cow, she legit locked up in her coming down the trail. She was probably like 35 yards, 30 yards, and I was thinking she'll come down right when she gets her head behind this tree at like 25, 28 yards. I was gonna take a shot. And right when I thought that, she locked him up, turned around, and started feeding back off straight behind me. And that's kind of where they all ended up. This other little one that I was watching there, she comes walking around the same thing, and she did the same thing right when I thought I was probably gonna take her. Locks him up, walked back, feeding the other way. So nothing, no shots, didn't even draw back. Here's the trail I'm talking about that locked them up on, and then this is the tree that I was getting ready to draw back, but they didn't even make it that far. So back there's where the elk were. They just kind of kept feeding back to where they were first bedded. I noticed some calves in the road, pulled up my binos, and all the elk were back there bedded right behind them, and they didn't move down into that clear cut until dark, or probably, 20 minutes before dark. Still good opening weekend. Got my heart pumping a couple times. Uh, Made me laugh here at the end. These little Tweety birds came in and were definitely trolling me, probably saying some dirty things, nasty things about me. But we'll be at it next weekend. Thanks for watching. I'll do.